Well, hello there. Thank you for visiting You Grow Row. If this is your first time, I hope you consider subscribing at the end of this video. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you. Today, I'm going to be addressing something that I'm taking very seriously, okay? And you guys are going to want to hear this one. Hi, darling. You guys are going to want to hear this one. So stick around, find out what I got for you. So you guys, especially you gardeners out there is a phenomenal recipe out there that so many of us gardeners have been ignoring for so long. And I know because I'm one of them. I came across this recipe sometime last year, and I'm guessing it was during an off season because I didn't act on it at the time. However, when I saw the video on it the first time, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. I think I'll give that a try. Never did it. Lucky for me, a few days ago, my good friend Chris, who has the YouTube channel Little Tech Girls Digital Homestead, I believe it is, she posted on her personal Facebook page about her snacking on this recipe that I'm about to tell you about. And I thought, oh yeah, I wanted to do that. At the time, I was literally laying in bed, just about to wind down. And I got up immediately and went downstairs because I know how I am. I would have forgot about it, especially being right before I was about to go to sleep. So I got up, went downstairs, knocked it out in maybe 5 minutes. I didn't make a huge batch, obviously, but knocked this recipe out in 5 minutes, put it on its way to do its thing, and then I was gonna wake up in the morning and hopefully be able to taste it. Forgot all about it, but then by the next afternoon, I remembered and I went and I tasted it. Oh, y'all, you have got to try this recipe. If you're growing your own tomatoes, you have got to try this recipe. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. The first video I saw on it was really in depth, so I'll put a link to that video down below. The woman who goes through how to make these wonderful, delicious snacks. She has a channel. Her name is Darcy, and the name of her channel is The Purposeful Pantry. That was where I first saw it. That over a year ago was where I saw that. She does a great video on it. And she goes into depth about, you know, how you should go about doing things to get the best result in the end. But at the end of the video, one of the things she said, and I remember watching it that first time, and she said, oh, it tastes just like pizza. You're gonna be surprised. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's not lose our heads, you know? And oh my goodness, when I tell you I tasted these snacks, what was it, 2 days ago? That's how urgent this felt. I did the recipe 2 days ago and I'm already doing the video. I have knocked other projects back so that I could get this video done and get the information out there while this is in season. But I took that first snack and I was so mad at myself for not doing more at the time. But honestly, I took that first bite and I was blown away. 200%. So much so that I went out to my garden and did a harvest specifically so that I can get more of this delicious, tasty, oh, just amazing snack going. And that snack is tomato chips. I know. There's somebody out there going, what? That's what she came on here to tell us? Yes. Listen to me. It is delicious. You're gonna be shocked. You're gonna be shocked. I know I was shocked. I'm telling you, I was shocked. And let me tell you, I'm gonna put on the screen what Chris had to say about hers, the ones that she made, which was what made me get up out of bed and go and do this recipe. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. You have got to try making tomato chips. You need tomatoes, you need herbs and spices, you need some nutritional yeast, and you need a dehydrator or an oven. That's it. Oh. And you don't even need nutritional yeast, although I think that gives it a great part of its flavor. But if you have Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan, the powdery stuff or whatever it is, that will work, or the powdery Romano, that will work too. But you have got to give this a try. So let me show you how easy this is. These tomatoes are so delicious. These are from my garden. These are the Big Rainbow. I got the recipe from, well, the idea from Darcy at the Purposeful Pantry. These are what she calls tomato chips, and they are so good. You have got to try this. So you just cut your tomatoes into like 1/4 inch slices or so, like that. And put them on your dehydrator tray. And then we're gonna season them. And I didn't believe her when she said that these wind up tasting like pizza, but she is not lying. They really do taste like pizza. It's incredible. I tried the recipe last night for the first time, and I tasted it, and I immediately pulled out my camera so that I could show you guys how easy this is. It's a wonderful way to use up some tomatoes. You could remove all of the gel and stuff if you wanted. I didn't bother. I also was thinking last night that I was supposed to season both sides, but I only seasoned the one side and that was fine. All right, let's get some seasonings on here. So this time around, I'm gonna do it a little different than I did the first time. This time I'm gonna use some oregano here. Sprinkling that on. Oregano on there. Next, I'm going in with some parsley. This is another one of those recipes where the hard part is waiting on it to be done. All right, did parsley. I'm gonna do some onion powder. All right. Garlic powder. Great. move on to my my second to final ingredient, which is some nutritional yeast. If you've not had this before, it has a cheesy, nutty flavor. It's really good. Super, super tasty. This is what I use as the base for my homemade vegan chicken bouillon. And then my final ingredient is pink Himalayan salt. These would go good on pizza, they say. You could put it in soup, you can put it on sandwiches. Some people talked about how they ground theirs up and used it as a seasoning. There were all kinds of wonderful ideas for how to use these up. Okay. Look at all that yumminess. And I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think if you end up buying some tasteless tomatoes from like the grocery or something, this is the perfect way to use those because the tomato flavor is so concentrated once the tomatoes are dehydrated. And so they would probably be far more flavorful than they would be fresh if you use them in this manner. I had saw on my Facebook page, one of my girlfriends from YouTube, she was just eating them like chips, and I can see why. I can't tell you, I can't express how delicious these things are. They are so good. You have got to try this. All right, so I'm gonna move these into my dehydrator and I'll come back and show you what they look like. But just wait, before I show you guys what my final product came out like, I decided to go online and see how much tomato chips run, you know, just in general. I remember seeing some at a Whole Foods and being blown away by it, but I didn't feel like getting up and going to the store, so I just pulled out my phone and went onto Amazon, and they had them on there for sure. And you probably guessed it already. They are ridiculously expensive. Okay, they had a 6-pack of tomato chips that was 2.5 ounces per bag for like $38. $38 divided by 6, that's like $6.25 or something a bag for 2.5 ounces of dehydrated tomatoes. And it didn't even have like, you know, nutritional yeast on it, no spices, no seasoning. These were just tomato chips. And they were like, oh, they're keto. Oh, they're vegan. Oh, they're gluten-free. They're expensive. That's what they are. They're overpriced. Oh my goodness. So, and then not only that, I went ahead and I did find one that did have multiple flavors. There was like a barbecue and 2 other flavors for a different variety or brand of the tomato chips, but still, all of them were crazy priced. I mean, just, it didn't make no sense. It didn't make no sense. It really didn't. So I also decided that it would probably make sense to go ahead and look and see how much tomato powder was going for, because essentially tomato powder is only ground up dehydrated tomatoes. So I looked that up, and guess what? That's equally as expensive. So like I said in the beginning, if you are somebody who grows your own tomatoes each year and you find that you like these, You are saving yourself so much money by making them yourself. I mean, there's just no way. The one of those packages of the dehydrated what do they call them? Tomato chips, has something like 3,000 reviews on it. And I'm like, 3,000 people saw those tomato chips with no seasoning, no nothing. I mean, I'm sure they were still good, you know, that way. They were plenty flavorful, but no seasoning, no nothing. And they were like, yeah, you know what? These are worth $7 a bag. I was shocked. I was shocked. I mean, I guess they're better with spending their discretionary money than I am, because I go out and I buy gardening things, not like food products I can make on my own. But I mean, for the convenience, I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you pay that much? Did you see those prices? Would you spend that much money on dehydrated tomatoes? That's essentially what that is. Dehydrated tomatoes with no seasoning, no nothing, for the most part. I think the third variety that I found did, like I said, had 3 different flavors, but yeah. So, guys, do yourself a favor. Make them yourself. And here they are. We got to test them for doneness to make sure they break and aren't bending. Perfect. Perfectly done. Look at those bad boys. Ooh, my mouth is watering already. Now, you'll want to store these in an airtight container, and try to use a container that you can fill up. You really don't want a bunch of space that can be filled by air. Air is the enemy. You could vacuum seal these as well to keep any moisture from getting in. I personally haven't stored these before, but if you'll notice on Chris's Facebook post, you can clearly see that her dehydrated tomato chips were from 2020, and that was 3 years ago. So I would just say keep an eye on them. For a list of additional ideas on how to use these tomatoes as something other than chips, I'll leave some information in the description box below. And that does it for this video. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit the like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.